life success can't happen separate from business or emotional success. It's all the same thing. And on the surface, a body worker, but right from the beginning of this conversation, we talked about how that that can't happen either unless there's communication and conversation. And if somebody's woken up or brought awareness into this, that's what thrills me the most. And that's, I think, probably why we connected, because you were already there. You made my job easier.
Yeah. Well, we're doing it together, right? I mean, and what's beautiful is right. The conversations that we have and the things that open up in the consciousness or awareness while you're working on my body. You know, it's a real total experience. It's not just coming away feeling better in a particular part of myself. So that's an extraordinary thing. And what I know about you is that you are starting to bring this out into the world more in a more a structured way. And tell us a bit about that.
Give me a little bit more.
Well, you're doing You're doing some. Aren't you bringing some teachings out into the world outside of just physical work or chiropractic?
Oh,
work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's happened with me personally, and again, here's the you cannot separate business and personal. In the last 10 or so years, I've personally really got engaged in mindfulness practice myself, and it is without question the primary project of my life now. I mean, that statement isn't an overstatement. And recognizing this and recognizing the power that this brings to healing, not only personally but towards my patients, I've started to teach some mindfulness courses in some corporations locally. We're actually setting up a new site that's really just going to be the Mind-Body Center, because as I get older and my sports performance piece of my career, I'll leave that to the younger new associates I've just brought on board recently. Not that I'll fully walk away from sports performance, but my passion now lies in the connection between the mind and body, and that's where my pursuit's going there. So teaching in local corporations, teaching with patients individually, setting up a new site that has a wellness center involved. That's really the primary focus, is the mind-body and not so much the sports performance. So it's been a turbulent transition. It's difficult in business to sort of remodel or rebrand as it's said in that, but I'm thrilled, and I've got some people helping me move this forward, and as long as they can keep me focused in the right direction, I think I'm really, really excited about what's going to come of that part of it, because it's happening around. And I'm sorry, before I forget to say this, I think the timing with everything we're going through right now, our Cat 5 Corona storm we're all in, people are realizing that this is a massive stress on our mental and emotional abilities, and I'm just pleased to be at least beginning to be positioned to help people in that context, timing-wise.
Well, and just to throw a business conversation into this, a business aspect of this, for those of you who see yourselves as out there listening, as being rebranding or making a pivot, or what I think you're really doing is you're taking your work deeper and into what you've always done and putting it out there more vulnerably, more truthfully, more expansively. And that's the only way any of us can win, right? You're solving a bigger problem, to put it in bigger business terms, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and to be able to be accessible. So I would imagine that there's going to be a component that you're going to be delivering that is not one-on-one or hands-on. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. See, that's why I need you, Christine. Thank you. You summed up what I babbled on for 9 minutes, and you just said it in a sentence and a half. Thank you.
Well,
and
but
that
it's
reminds
because
me
you
that
dialed in.
No, that's great. That's exactly right. And as I pivot business-wise, I'll have smart people like you and folks like you help me on that side of it. And I'll just, like you said, with vulnerability, bring what I'm passionate about to help people. It's problem
let's
solving,
start right here and change our language, right? Because you've said the word pivot, and I know I gave it to you subconsciously, and I'm speaking to our listeners, right? Because we're all thinking pivot these days, but in fact, you're expanding, and that's what we want to be thinking about it. Like, we're expanding. So we're sitting here in the middle of a global pandemic, thinking, "Oh my God, I have to do something different." But in fact, we should be thinking about expanding. And then even in the midst of a Category 5, it can be that. So I offer that up to you as well. And for all of us, our language is important, and it matters, and we have to be disciplined about it. So that's my suggestion to you. And so, I would like to give you these last few minutes to what is our takeaway that you would like to share in this, from this expanded point of view, that you're going to be offering to people and that you can offer us today?
No, thank you. And thank you for the reminder on the language. You and I have talked about this a lot, and the words we use are immensely important. I mean, it's also in the case in healing, patients aren't allowed to come in and tell me they have a bad back. They don't want to take ownership on something like that. Right. So, I mean, I'm expanding into an area that I've personally been practicing consistently and diligently for a number of years now. And I recognize that without personal care, without taking care of our minds first and foremost, taking care of our bodies in concert with that, success in any endeavor is going to be a lesser success. And I think that maybe this pandemic has shifted enough perspectives in all of us to have that message a little bit more received, in that success in business with the rest of your life in shambles isn't really success. I mean, that's the message that I'll continue to refine and expand upon.
Well, I want to say you are on the vanguard of what we're all doing in healing next. And I think I'm so grateful for our partnership and the work that we do together and how you've impacted my life. And I would like to help others know how they can find you. What would be the best way? I know we're going to have some show notes here, but let us know how we can find you and learn more about your work.
Yeah, every time I listen to interviews or podcasts, at the end I hear this and I think upon myself and I say, I probably need to clean that up a little bit. But my website is www.lasportsperformance.com, and I can be found there. And the LAMindBody.com will be up and running in a couple of weeks as we work on that. And those are probably the two best places to find us.
Well, hopefully by the time this show airs live, LAMindBody.com is live too. We're going to support you in that and look forward to seeing what your work, what work is coming next through you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
thank you so much for taking, please.
No, you've lit yet another flame under me. I'm inspired as always. Thank you.
I'm so glad. I can't wait to see what comes next. And everybody, check out LAMindBody.com and LASportsPerformance.com. Dr. Steve Gautreau, we've been so lucky to have you here with us today, and thank you so much for this wonderful conversation.
My pleasure as always. Thank you.